Hi guys, I'm Leila and I talk about all things personal finance and lifestyle related. And today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of having a high yield savings account in opposed to a standard savings account. So if you're unfamiliar with what a high yield savings account is, it is basically just your standard savings account. However, it exceeds the national average on interest rates. The national interest rate level is currently sitting at about 0.56%, meaning that for every $100, you're going to get about 56 cents in return. However, there is a pro to this. If you get into a high yield savings account, you're going to see upwards of about 4.5%, which is currently the average, and you can even get into the high 5.6% range, depending on what bank you choose to open your high yield savings account through. Every $100 that you put into these high yield savings accounts, you can see returns of about $4.50 to $5.50 just by putting your money into higher yield savings accounts. So that is basically my tip number one, but I'm going to go more in depth with that once I get farther into the video. So thank you for watching, and I'm super excited to share this information with you guys. So pro number one, like I had mentioned earlier, is that you do get a higher yield savings rate on your high yield savings account. It's in the name, it's in the function. Basically, you're earning more money for the money that you would have put aside anyways. As we know, inflation is going up, so you really want to protect your money losing its value by putting it into a high yield savings account. If your money is sitting into an account with only a 0.56%, or I've even seen accounts with as low as 0.01% interest rates, your money is not beating the market. So you want to truly protect your money and even make some money off of interest by putting it into higher yield savings account and making sure that it doesn't lose its value over time. This is truly a pro because one, you're making more money off the interest that you wouldn't have had to make in the first place. And two, like I had mentioned, you're protecting your money from inflation rates. So make sure that your money doesn't lose value and put it into a high yield savings account. So pro number two that I have is that your money is accessible at any time. I know that it's a common misconception that when you open a high yield savings account, you can only access your money after a certain period of time, and this is just simply not true. A lot of people might get it confused with, many other IRA type forms and other investment strategies, but you don't have to worry about the accessibility of your money within a high yield savings account. It's truly liquid. You can pull from it at any time. If you need to spend it in a crunch or you have an emergency fund that you need to pull from, no worries. You can just pull it from your high yield savings account. Pro number three is that it is FDIC insured, so you don't have to worry about any of your money sitting uninsured up to $250,000. Now, if you're exceeding $250,000, it is a smart choice to open a different high yield savings account or put that money towards investments just to make sure that your money is not sitting uninsured in a bank. Pro number four is that you can easily open a high yield savings account. It is not something that takes a long amount of time. It's not something that you have to go through, extenuating processes and a bunch of approvals and everything for. It's an easy process. You typically just go on the website and you open your account through there and deposit however much money you wish to deposit. So that's going to end off our pros for this, and I'm sure that there's a lot more pros to having a high yield savings account, and if you guys want, I can cover more of that, but I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to just jump right into the cons. One of the biggest cons that I hear often is that these banks, typically that yield a higher interest rate, don't have in-person locations in which you can go and deposit your money physically. However, they do have very great customer service, and you're typically able to call anyone and contact them for help 24/7 for most banks that I've heard of. So having access to your bank in person is really important to you. Then maybe consider some of the other options. But if you're okay with having 24-hour customer service on the phone, then I don't think that would really be an issue. Con number two is that depending on which bank you may go through, some of them may have deposit and withdrawal limits, meaning that you can't deposit or withdraw your money exceeding a certain amount of times per month. Typically, this withdrawal and deposit limit is pretty high. However, you still do want to check with your desired bank and call them or check on their website and see if they do have any penalties for withdrawing too early, withdrawing too frequently, or if they don't have any penalties at all and you're free to withdraw or deposit whenever you choose. Con number three is that interest rates do fluctuate on high yield savings accounts. So depending on how the market is doing that year or even in that section, it's going to be a different interest rate than you initially sign up for. That interest rate is not going to drastically drop down to the 0.01% that I've seen, but it can fluctuate, and it could fluctuate for the better or it could fluctuate for the worse. But do remember that your money is insured and is protected up to $250,000 from the FDIC. So you are okay. It's not going to lose you a bunch of money. It's just going to fluctuate your interest rate in which you earn your money. If you do see that your bank is in a period where it is truly struggling and you don't think that it would be beneficial to stick with that bank in the long run, feel free to also transfer banks. There's no harm in doing this. If you see a better interest rate and you think that that interest rate will withhold for a substantial amount of time, check with your bank, check with the other bank, and make sure that there's no penalties within transferring banks. And if that transition is best for you, make sure that you do that. All in all, I do think that high yield savings accounts are a very good choice for all people. No matter if you're a student or a mom or a dad or a grandpa or grandma, any high yield savings account can benefit you in a bunch of different ways. But do keep in mind that those interest rates will fluctuate, and don't be freaked out when you see a less interest rate than when you signed up for, or don't be super ecstatic when you see a higher yield interest rate and you think that this is going to stay, because likely the market will fluctuate back and forth, and that money that you're getting, the interest will fluctuate as well. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you have any suggestions on future videos, please let me know. Before I end this video, I do want to touch on my No Spend January. It's been 2 days since I posted the last video, so I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. It's still going well. The only thing I've bought so far is a can of beans. So yeah, it's going pretty well. But thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you guys want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button down below and feel free to turn on post notifications. But for now, goodbye, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.